Japan, a fascinating country full of epic cities and ancient traditions that I've decided to make my home. And in this video series, I want to show you exactly what I love about this place. Now, the one Japanese city every person on the planet has heard about is Tokyo, but I wasn't going to be going anywhere near there this time. This trip was all about me exploring the Kansai region. So basically, Tokyo is in the east of Japan, and Kansai is in the west. And Kansai has three big cities: Osaka, Kobe, and Kyoto. Kyoto was actually the capital of Japan for more than 1,000 years, while Osaka and Kobe served as trading ports, aided by their access to the waterfront. I've always loved the Kansai region, and over the next 6 days, I'd like to introduce you to some places while riding along 6 different train lines and taking pictures. If I was to go on a trip like this in North America, it would be quite the endeavor, but Japan's amazing train system makes it easy. The Kansai region in particular has a well-developed railroad network centered in Osaka, and it's easy to go anywhere in the region. The trains are always on time and pristinely clean too. And Japan's attention to detail really comes in handy when it comes to keeping every nook and cranny of the trains and stations sanitized. And as someone who tries to be environmentally friendly, I love that I can travel 100% by train here. Japan is also amazing when it comes to special train passes for tourists. If you're planning on doing a full-on Kansai trip like me, you definitely should check out the Kansai One Pass, which lets you use all the major public transportation companies in Kansai without having to buy another ticket. You can even show the card to get discounts at a selection of sightseeing locations all over Kansai. That's some major savings that you can spend on the amazing food in the region. And by the way, if you just want to focus on one line in the Kansai area, they got you covered too. Each video in this series is focused on a different train line in the region, and we'll hook you up with all the details on their respective passes. Kansai's railroads offer convenient and affordable passes for foreign visitors to Japan, so be sure to check the websites of the railroad companies before you come here. Oh, did I mention the food here is amazing? Here's a sneak peek if you're not convinced. But before we get to all that, I had a day to chill in Osaka and check out the sights. And I knew where I wanted to go first. You might be aware a lot of the most famous camera makers are Japanese, and Japan has some of the coolest old camera shops. Most of the stuff at Tokiwa was out of my budget, but I just wanted to come take a look. And before I knew it, an hour had passed inside the shop. It was time to leave while I still had sunlight. After I'd left paradise, I wandered lost in the city, almost feeling like I'd peaked too early on this trip. And before I knew it, nighttime had come. Little did I know, that's when Osaka truly comes alive. I was standing on Dotonbori, Osaka's main nightlife street, when Takashi came up and started talking to me out of the blue in pretty competent English. It took him about 30 seconds to ask me if I wanted to have a drink, and I had nothing better in mind, so off to the races we went. Before I knew it, we were in a noisy bar where the food tasted as delicious as it looked. Takashi was easy to talk to, as you'd expect in Osaka, a city famous for producing a large amount of the professional comedians in Japan. So yeah, the recipe for a good night out in Osaka? Just talk to local people, and if they don't speak your language, let the beer do the talking. The next morning, it was time to head out on my trip. And to find out what happens next, you'll have to watch the rest of the series. But here's a sneak peek. On day 1, I'll be taking the Nankai Koya line and the Koyasan World Heritage Ticket to Koyasan, which is home to some of the most famous Buddhist temples in Japan. I'll start at the Danjo-Garan Sacred Temple Complex, which is famous for its red pagoda. Then I'll head to Kongo-Buji, the head temple of Shingon Buddhism on Koyasan. To cap it all off, I'll stop by Okunoin, a temple surrounded by a huge cemetery. On day 2, I'll be using the JR West Line and the Kansai Wide Area Pass to explore Hyogo and Okayama west of Osaka. First, I'll check out the Bikan Historical District in Kurashiki, a fascinating time capsule of Japan's past. Then, I'll explore Japan's jeans culture at Kojima Jeans Street and the Betty Smith Jeans Museum in Kojima City. And finally, I'll end the day at the top of Mount Washu with its beautiful view of the Seto Inland Sea. On day 3, using the Hankyu Tourist Pass, I'll visit northern Osaka near Osaka International Airport, which is convenient for travel to Tokyo and other parts of Japan. There, I'll go check out the Cup Noodles Museum in Ikeda, Osaka, where I'll find out about the history of cup noodles and get to make my own. After that, I'll make my way to Mino City, where I'll first go take a look at Mino Falls, the largest waterfall in the Osaka area. And last but not least, I'll head over to Katsuoji, a temple famous for its beautiful bridge and thousands of tiny red Daruma statues. On day 4, I'll be on the Hanshin line using the Hanshin Tourist Pass, which will take me right to Kobe City, where I'll first explore the Mount Rokko area, which offers breathtaking views of the city. Mount Rokko is also home to the Rokko Forest Sound Museum, which shines a light on a unique type of musical instrument I think you'll be fascinated to learn more about. After I come down the mountain, I'll head to Meriken Park on Kobe's waterfront, where I'll enjoy a fun weekend afternoon of people watching. There are all sorts of hobbyists that gather in the park here. To finish the day off, I'll explore Kobe's Chinatown area at night during the busy Chinese New Year season. And near there, I'll discover a cool tunnel under the train tracks that's home to a very unique coffee business. On day 5, I'll take the Keihan line and the Kyoto-Osaka sightseeing pass to Kyoto, where I'll soak myself in Japanese tradition. First, I'll ride the Kirara special train to Kifune Shrine, where I'll take some beautiful snow-enhanced pictures. Then, I'll get to try some delicious boar hot pot near the shrine. Once my belly is full, I'll head over to Fushimi Inari Taisha, the shrine where visitors pray for bountiful harvests, business prosperity, and the safety of their homes and families. After I've covered my 10,000 steps for the day, I'll take a breather at Yume Hyakushu Brewery, where I'll enjoy some delicious sake. On day 6, I'll take a ride on the Kintetsu line with the Kintetsu Rail Pass. My journey will start in Iga City, where I'll visit the Iga Ueno Castle, the place Akira Kurosawa filmed his famous period film Kagemusha. And right next to the castle, I'll also stop by the Iga Ryu Ninja Museum, where I'll receive some serious training in the ways of the ninjas of Iga. After this amazing experience, I'll take a train to Muroakame Aoyama Quasi-National Park, where I'll discover some epic waterfalls that are worth the trip. And at Aoyama Plateau, I'll find dozens upon dozens of windmills that make for a very poetic skyline. Finally, on day 7, I'll spend my final day in Osaka before heading back to Tokyo. My first stop will be the Mozu Tombs, where the Emperor Nintoku was buried 1600 years ago. After this taste of ancient history, I'll head to the Hozenji Temple and Hozenji Yokocho. This temple and the side streets surrounding it really express the Japanese experience in a nutshell. Hope you guys are ready. It's gonna be a fun ride.